All right, some important things to know about VTU business. So, let's say you want to go into this business of VTU reselling. All right, there are some things you need to know. But first of all, let me just, in case you're just coming to this channel for the first time or you're just watching, maybe you don't know me, so let me just do a bit of introduction of myself. My name is Praise Akokumu. I am a VTU business expert. I run a seven-figure VTU business and I specialize in training people in telecom business. Okay, this is my specialty. I love training. That's why there are many videos here where I teach. So having done this business for full time for 4 years as a major source of income. So this is what brings me my major income. I have trained over 5,000 students and helped create over 30 VT websites for my students as well. In 2018, I quitted my cleaning job to face this business squarely, and since then, since 2020, when we set up our website, I've been able to do six figures and helped my students do the same as well. Okay, so before I the get into the webinar, please don't mind my voice. This voice has been stressed, but I just have to do this video all the same just to provide value for you. Now let's look at some of the important things that you need to know about this business. So the first one to know, understand is that data is the powerhouse of a VTU reselling business. Data is the powerhouse, right? So you get more people asking you for data, obviously. Okay, why? Because data is used every day and it finishes on time. Okay, so people use this data every day and it finishes on time. People subscribe cable TV once a month and buy electricity token, once a month, once or twice a month. But for data is every day. Also, people don't really buy much of airtime. Young people make calls using using on WhatsApp. So you want to call, most likely you want to call someone, you're going to use WhatsApp to do so as a young person. So that will not make airtime to thrive. And people subscribe cable once, it will not make it. I mean, it's just once. That means you just make money from it once. So beside all this, there is not much discount offers in selling all of these other products. So with data, you get a lot of discount. Discount come easily with data business. So data is the powerhouse of this VTU business. The number two, MTN network sells more compared to other networks, be it data or airtime. So basically, we base the profit of this business on MTN. I'll tell you, on MTN itself, especially MTN data. So MTN network as a whole, sells more compared to other networks, be it data or airtime. You know that MTN supplies airtime and data, right? So MTN has what is called SME, gifting, and corporate gifting. So CGM means corporate gifting. Okay, so MTN has these three. Or in this business, you find three types of MTN data, which are SME, CG, and gifting. I'm going to tell you the difference and similarity in a bit. So Airtel has. So one of the things you must also know is that MTN has. There are three types of data. All right, you find in this business. They are SME, they are CG, and which is corporate gifting and gifting. So MTN has the three of them. Airtel has just CG and corporate gifting and gifting. Glo has just one, which is the gifting. Okay, but note that MTN sells more. So your marketing should be based more on MTN. I will tell you the truth. MTN and Airtel, to be precise. MTN SME and Airtel corporate gifting. Right, they are the cheapest and they are the ones that are easily bought by people. Number three, there are three types of. Number three things you must know, or the third thing you must know there is that there are three types of data. Oh, I mentioned it before. People buy people buy more of the data than they buy airtime, right? Like I mentioned before. After MTN, Airtel CG is the next product that brings in more sales. So followed by Glow Gifting, and then Nine Mobile Gifting is the last. So people used to ask this question. So what's the similarity or the difference between SME gifting and corporate gifting? So I'll mix them up. I've mixed the similarity and the difference together. So I didn't separate them. But understand that all of them, all these data types, they actually work for browsing and they work for all device. So you can browse with any of them. It does not select device or whatever. They all have 30 days validity, all of them, right? Then they are different in prices. One may be more expensive than the other, as determined by the network provider. Okay, so why is somebody was asking me a time ago that why is SME, why is there a big gap between corporate gifting and SME, or SME and gifting? So I had to explain corporate gifting and I think it's corporate gifting and SME, because corporate gifting is more like an alternative to SME. So they are kind of similar or the same actually. It's just that one is just SME is the one that is bought the most and is the cheapest. Okay, there are different factors that different reasons why that is, but I'm not going to talk about that. So SME is most times cheaper than, or is all the time safe, not even most time, cheaper than all of them for whatever reason. You're not to bother yourself about the reason why it's cheaper like that. It's just the way it is, right? It's just the way the network providers decide to sell. So SME is just cheaper. Okay, but they are the same data. You must understand that it is the same thing, right? That means data consumption is the same. Okay, I'll get to that. So the major difference is in their code used in checking their balance. So you want to check SME balance, data balance, star 461 star 4 hash. You want to check corporate gifting data balance. Those are the codes, star 131 star 4 hash or star 460 star 200 hash. Then for gifting is star 131 star 4 hash. So data consumption is the same on all of these different types and based on user consumption. But then in this business, what you have to do, if you want to, so which one should you buy? Which one should you purchase? Now, if you want to share data, so buy gifting data, that is subscribe or sell gifting data if you want to share data with another person. Okay, so with gifting data, you can actually share the data, but you cannot share SME data. You cannot share corporate gifting data with another person. Then buy gifting data if you want to get double data after activating your SIM for it, or after buying a new MTN SIM card. So there's what is called double data. Okay, if you buy a new SIM card, register a new SIM card, you will qualify to get double data for 6 months when you purchase a particular type of data. So if a customer is in that category, you sell gifting data to them. Let's say the person has activated this as SIM for double data, or the person has purchased a new SIM and the person wants double, then you use gifting. You sell gifting data to the person. Use MTN, use SME. I'm particular about MTN here now. Use MTN SME or corporate gifting for orders between 500 MB and 10 gig. That is, for customers who want to purchase 500 MB to 10 gigabytes, use SME or corporate. But use gifting for orders that are of for orders that are 12 gig and above. Is that clear? Okay, so it is best selling SME data or corporate data when it's between 500 MB and 10 gig. But anything above that is best to use gifting. In gifting data, the higher you go, the lesser the price. But in SME data or corporate gifting data, the higher you go, the higher the price of the data. So number 4, MTN SME is the cheapest of all MTN data types with the highest profit margin. So MTN has the highest profit margin. So the MTN SME precisely rather, will give you more profit in the business. Now number 5, if your customer wants to buy data from 500, I've mentioned this before, I don't know why I'm stating it again. Number 6, MTN CG is just an alternative to MTN SME. It's just an alternative. So this means that both are actually the same, right? Although MTN CG is costlier than SME, that's just the way it is. So when MTN SME is down, MTN CG stands as alternative, and some customers will prefer corporate gifting to SME, even when they know that it is costlier. It's just their choice. All right. Some persons have the belief that corporate gifting lasts more than SME, but that's not really the truth or the whole truth. Yeah, there seems to be a bit of truth because you can't always determine how your data is consumed. All right. So if you say you want to put it to test, we can't always test that. Okay, today this is the amount of data you used. Tomorrow this amount of data you used. No, we can't always tell, right? So you can't even tell which one that one lasts more than the other. You can't say that. Okay, so we believe strongly that they are both the same. Really, they are both the same. If two different people purchase 1 gig, one purchase 1 gig SME, one purchase 1 gig corporate gifting, and they use it maybe at almost at the same rates, then I think their data will finish almost at the same time. So away from that, number seven, you make more money selling. Make more money in this business selling 500 MB to 10 gig. Please take note of that. The money is in the lesser data plans. That's what the money is. So most of the time, the lesser the data plan, the more profit you make, especially for MTN SME, MTN CG, and Airtel CG. Please take note of this. But for gifting plans, the higher the data plan, the more the profit you make. Just understand this difference. So the price, sorry, the lesser the plan, the more the profit you make. But that's for MTN SME, MTN gifting, and Airtel gifting. But for gifting plans alone across all networks, the higher the data plan, the more the profit. Excuse me. Number seven, you will make more money when you sell. Okay, I mentioned that before. Please, I'm sorry for the repetition. Number eight, if your customer prefers a particular data plan or type, give them just that. Now, because if you look at it very well, let's take an example. MTN SME. Um, which example will I use now? Um, MTN, for example, 10 gig from MTN cost 3,000 naira. 3,000 naira, okay? That's for 10 gig. Now, if you buy, for example, you are purchasing MTN SME from a particular vendor at 230 per gig, or let's say 250 per gig, that's 2,500 naira for 10 gig. So MTN is, gifting, when you are selling gifting, it will be 3,000, maybe around 2,900. Gifting will not give you much discount. But now SME is giving you for that 10 gig for like 2.5 or 2.3 depending. See the margin now. The margin in profit is large. You may be tempted to want to use SME and sell to a customer when the customer has told you that he does not want the SME. I know of people who they kept echoing that they don't want me to sell MTN SME to them. They want the gifting because in their mind they feel like the gifting does not run out, the way SME does. But if you have that kind of customer, the customer specifically tells you what he wants, don't go and think you are smart. You may just end up losing that customer. So don't let greed or the urge to make quick, massive profits ruin your business. That's that. Airtel won't credit gifting data to customers owing them. So this is it. Every network provider, offer what is called, pay later service. So that means their customer can borrow from them. So people borrow airtime, people borrow data. Okay. Now, um, all the networks except Airtel will not create the customer. So what customers do now is that they are owning the networks. They don't want to purchase airtime on their phone because when they purchase airtime on their phone, the network will automatically deduct what the customer is owing them and then leave the rest. So that means they will purchase from vendors despite the fact that they are owning network, and the network will not do anything. But for Airtel will not. You can't cheat Airtel. That's what Airtel is trying. Airtel will not allow you. It will not credit a customer or will not give value to a customer that is owing them, be it airtime or data. So, for example, a customer is owing, even if it's 5 naira, say five kobo. A customer is owing Airtel network, let's say airtime of 100 naira. Then the customer now goes to buy data from a vendor, because buying from a vendor means it will be credited straight to the customer's line without the customer having to buy airtime, and then convert to data. Airtel will not credit the customer the data. All right, they will not. So, however, Airtel will credit the customers owing them when you send Airtel CG to them. So, if a customer is owing and he does not have the money to buy to pay off Airtel, then the best thing is for the customer to purchase Airtel corporate gifting. Airtel will not debit, will not remove the money. But if you send Airtel gifting to the customer will not receive the data. So confirm the debit status, the debt rather status of your customers, and let the customer know all these things, okay, before you work with them. Then let's go to Glow. Glow divides their data plan, into day and night. If you are a Glow user, you are already familiar with this, right? So your customer will receive a message that shows only the data, only the day data, that is the day part of the data. He or she has to check through a particular link, hsi.glow.com, to see the full data. I don't have any picture towards this. I would have added a picture to understand. So, for example, Glow 1000 naira plan equals, so Glow gives 3.9 gigabyte at the time of recording this webinar. Sorry, this particular video. 1000 naira plan from Glow is 3.9 gig. Glow divides it into 1.9 gig day and 2 gig night. Okay, so but when the customer receives the message that, okay, data has been, let's say you send data to a Glow customer, he or she will receive a particular message, but the data he or she will see will be the day data. So you sell 1000 naira plan data to a customer, or 3.9 gigabyte to a customer. What the customer will see on his or her balance, *127*0# will be the 1.9 gig. The customer will not see this one. So for the customer to see the full plan, this is the link the customer has to use to check. Now, night plan starts from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. So anyway, you can visit Glow official website to see how Glow separates their full plans. This is the link. I'll put it in the description below. All these links in the description, description of this video, so that you can take a look at them. Then also, Glow data sent to a non-Glow number cannot be refunded. So this is it. The way, by standard, you cannot send MTN data to a Glow number. It's not going to go through. But it's different from Glow. So your customers will receive a message that shows, oh my God, this is a mistake. Please, sorry about this. This information is for the last point. I didn't even change it. So this is like 11. But let's move on. Sorry about this. So Glow data sent to non will not be refunded. So this is it. Now the standard, like I mentioned before, is that you can't send data or even airtime from one network to another. It does not, at this moment, it does not exist. It's a possibility, but right now it's not existing. I don't know for what reason. Now, so that means you want to send airtime or data, whatever, to another network. It's not going to go through normally. Okay, but with Glow data, it will go through. That means you will be debited. So let's say, for example, you want to send data to a customer, Glow, but the customer now gave you an MTN line. Probably the customer has two lines, and now mistakenly gave you an MTN line. If you send data to the MTN line, you'll be debited. Glow will remove value from us or from you, but it will not credit the customer, but it has removed value. What to do in this case is to write to Glow. So what Glow will do is that Glow will now transfer the value to the right number. So if what you have to do is to write to Glow, email them, Glow will transfer the value to the customer, to the right number that you were supposed to send to, as it were, right, to the right Glow number. That's that. So I think this brings us to the end of end of this. There are more, but this is the only thing I was able to 11 things I was able to pen down. So if you have more questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I hope everything about that I've explained is clear to you. All right, thank you very much. See you in the next video.